Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Ross. Welcome back to my Hide Access series. This is part 2 of 2, where I'm going to show you how to get rid of all the naysayers, all the access haters, and make your database look like it's not Access, even though you should be Access and proud. But, yeah, I get it. Alright, so in yesterday's video, we hid lots of stuff. We hid the navigation pane, we hid the right-click menus, we hid most of the ribbon, but you still got this big red bar across the top here. Let's turn the ribbon, the toolbar, completely off. Okay? Now, in order to do that, we're going to need a little VBA. That's why I marked this a developer-level video. Now, if you've never done any VBA programming before, go watch this video first. It'll teach you everything you need to know in about 20 minutes. We're really only going to need one line of code today, but you got to know where to put it. All right, so when the database starts up, we need to run one line of code to hide this ribbon interface. Now, normally we'd put that inside of our startup form or in your AutoExec macro if you want to. I prefer the startup form, but we can't right-click anymore because we disabled the right-click menu, right? So we have to shut the database down, and then you're going to click on the shortcut. You're going to hold down the shift key now. Let the mouse go completely, right? Hold down the shift key and then double click on the shortcut. That's going to bypass the startup. All right, that will open up this database with all of the stuff that we just turned off back on again. Now, you can disable that. You can make it so that shift bypass no longer works. I do cover that in my full security seminar. That's a lot more involved, a lot more VBA code. But the average user isn't going to know that. Unless they know Microsoft Access, they're not going to know to do that. And even so, we're going to be making an ACCDE file in a minute, right? It'll be encrypted, and even if they do get in here, they won't be able to change anything. So don't worry about that. All right, but now that we are in here, let's go into our main menu, right-click, Design View. Let's open up its properties, go to Events, and either on Load or on Open, either one, it doesn't really matter for this particular case. Go to the ... open up the VBA code editor. All right, here I am in my form load event, and it's going to be do command dot show toolbar, and then in quotes, show toolbar, and then in quotes, ribbon, comma, AC toolbar no. Okay, that's it. Save it, throw in a debug compile. Always, this is on the checklist too. Make sure you compile your database before you try distributing it. Make sure all the errors are out of it, right? Syntax errors. Now, close the database. Open it up again, normally this time. Double click. And there you go. Look at that. The toolbar up top is completely gone. And now, you just looking at it, you cannot tell this is Microsoft Access, right? There's no right-click menu. There's no ribbon. Right? This is the standard Windows menu. Navigation pane is gone. You change all your icons. You change your splash screen. Right? Unless someone is really an expert in Access, they're not going to know that this is Access. Well, except for the fact that this says Access right here. But you could change that. Right? Put your own logo here. Change this. I did all this for my screenshot for the title slide. But I cover all this in the blank database video. And in how to make a main menu. Right? And if you want to get a kick out of it, pause it and read this. This is pretty cool stuff. But see, you can make it look like it's not an Access. I forgot to change the form level one there, and someone might recognize that as an Access form icon. Oh, big deal, right? Most people won't know it. All right, so we're pretty much there. We're getting there, right? It doesn't look like Access at all. All right, so we hid the ribbon. I got hide the ribbon and status bar here because when I made this, I forgot that you can also turn off the status bar in the file options. But there's VBA code you can use to hide the status bar as well if you want to do that in code, because you can turn it on and off. But you just use the file options menu to turn the status bar off. That's fine. All right, I'm going to skip make sure all errors are handled for now. Let's talk about debug, compile the database. We just did that. You want to make sure you debug and compile the database, because if you have any syntax errors in your code, so if it's typed in wrong or it's referring to fields that don't exist, or undeclared variables, that's going to generate a runtime error, and the compiler will catch that. And you also will not be able to make an ACCDE file. Yeah, it's a PowerPoint. Leave me alone. You will not be able to make an ACCDE file if there are syntax errors in your code. So make sure you debug compile. Now that brings me back to make sure all errors are handled, because the compiler will catch syntax errors, but it won't catch runtime errors. right? It won't catch errors in your code logic, for example. Now, this is a pain because anytime you want to go back in and make changes in the database, you got to close it and do the shift double-click trick that I showed you earlier, because now you can get back in. And what I usually do is I usually do all that lockdown stuff after I make the ACCDE file. I put it in code in a button, but that's up to you. And that's, again, stuff I cover in the security seminar. But let's just say real quickly, maybe in your customer form, right? And again, you want to go through and change the icons either one at a time. You could change them for all the forms, or you want to do that thing where I changed all the system icons for the database and the forms themselves. Otherwise, you'll see the little Access logo in here. But what you want to do is, let's say you've got a field in here and you're doing some math on it. I'll just change this button right here. Let's say the contacts button. All right. Let's say we're going to say dim x, and we're going to say x equals 100 divided by 0, and then message box x. And you probably see where I'm going with this, right? Now, debug compile, it looks fine. There's no problems, right? But if I come back in here now, and I'm gonna close the database and open it back up with all the stuff locked down. Okay, we're back in. We don't know it's an Access database, right? Customer form, contacts, boom. See? You get the Microsoft Visual Basic division by error, the division by 0 error, and someone who knows Access will know that this is, a VBA error. They'll know that this was probably built in Access. So if you want to hide that, make sure you've got debugging for any possible spot in your database where it can cause an error. All right? And if you don't give them an ACCDE file, they'll be able to do this and hit debug, and it will open up the VBA editor. All right? This does not open up if you've got an ACCDE file or if they're running off the runtime edition. Okay? So I'm going to get rid of this. Goodbye. Save it, close it, and we should be good. As far as error handling goes, I talk about it in a lot more detail in this video. I spend some time covering the basics in Access Developer 2. And I spent a lot more time on it in Access Developer 15. We call it Debugging Level 2, where I cover all kinds of other stuff like watches, breakpoints, the immediate window, all that kind of stuff. All right, next up, make sure you compact and repair your database. Everyone should know how to do that. All right, database tools, compact and repair. It's that simple. Again, I've got a whole separate video on it. Go watch this to learn more. All right, next up, we're going to make an ACCDE file, an encrypted or execute-only file, depending on who you ask. And this is a version of your database that the user can't make any design changes to. Okay? Again, got a whole separate video on this one. I'll put a link down below. Go watch this. This is a good one. Now for this one, I'm going to go into the database folder, and I'm going to open up the original ACCDB file, and I'm going to hold down Shift and open that up, so it bypasses the startup. And when you do that, it normally opens up behind the window you're in, so just be aware of that. Sometimes, like if this window is really big, right, you might be sitting here wondering, where's the database? It's in the background. That's one of those glitches with Access. Sammy, you could put that on the list too. I don't know why that... he's keeping a list of all the things that we're going to suggest to Microsoft, because I don't know why it opens up in the background, but it does. And now we're going to go into File, Save As, Make ACCDE file. Okay, ricksdb.acce. Save it. Hope that there's no errors. Okay, because if you got any compile errors, it's going to tell you, I can't make an ACCDE file. Brr, right? You got to go and figure out why not. One of the troubleshooting things I recommend, by the way, if that happens and you can't find the error, if you do a debug compile and you can't find the error, just start removing objects one at a time, right? Start with forms, remove those, remove modules, remove reports, and eventually you'll get to a point where you can make the ACCDE file, and that's probably the culprit. There could be a bug in there or something's corrupted. So there's lots of other things to do. Okay, but now you got this guy right there. That's the guy you want to now make the shortcut to. All right, this goes to the actual database, and you can come in here if you want to, go to Properties, and just change the target right here to the ACCDE file, right? And then hit OK. And now you can use this. And keep this for yourself. Don't ever get rid of this guy, because you can't go backwards from that back to that. I mean, yes, there's companies out there that can reverse engineer it, but it's expensive and it's time consuming, and you don't want to have to go through that. So always make sure you keep a backup of your development ACCDB file. Okay, but now if the user, let me close this. If the user does open this up, it's the ACCDE, it's locked down, right? And even if they do know that shift trick, I'm going to hold down shift and open it up. Okay, I'm in here. Yes, you can still see the tables. Okay, but you can't come in here and go to design view. And you can't see the design of any of your code. Right? Right click design, it's just blocked out. All right, tables are not secured in Access at all. If you need your data to be secured, you need to use a database server like SQL Server. And yes, of course, I've got a course in that as well. All right, but now the user has a nice locked down ACCDE file, and you can now give them this. Okay. All right, and the last thing on the checklist is to install the Access runtime. Now, obviously, if you're going to be installing it yourself, you can do it. No one's going to be the wiser. If your customer has to install it, well, they're going to see that it's the Access runtime. There's really no way around it. And they can also use the full version of Access if you have to. One of the nice things about the runtime is that they don't have to buy a copy of Office to use your database. The runtime is free. And again, of course, I've got a whole video on using the Access runtime, how to distribute your database for free using the Access runtime. And there are some third-party package and distribution utilities out there. I haven't used any myself in probably 20-some years, to be honest. I used to use Install Shield back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, but I haven't used it since then. So if you have an installer application that you recommend, let me know. Post a comment down below in the comments, because I've been looking for one. I've seen a couple out there, but I have no experience with them lately. But Install Shield used to work great because it would create distribution CDs for you. Remember those CDs? And you just give that to your customer. It was all completely. You could brand it with your own logo. And anytime I built a database for a client, I just ran it through the Install Shield installer, and it made a CD. I just give it to them, they install it, and they had no idea it was using Access. So there's options out there. I don't know what they are today. I don't even know if Install Shield's still around. Let me take a look. Yeah, that looks like it from back in the day. This was some great software back then. Looks like now it's been rebranded as Revenera, whatever you call it. So if any of you guys have any experience with this, let me know. Post a comment down below. So that's my entire checklist so far. I got a couple of other videos you can also use to give you some ideas for making like custom forms and stuff that make your Access database not look like Access. I got this one on form design aesthetics, where you can make your own custom controls and your own custom buttons and all kinds of cool stuff, so it looks nothing like Access whatsoever. I'm not a graphic designer, by the way. I just kind of threw these together in like Word and PowerPoint. But I mean, if you're good with that kind of stuff, you can make it look a whole lot better than this. And I also did one on custom form backgrounds, so you can put a background behind it. You want that old Windows 2000 look, or you want it to look like XP? Well, make your own custom form background, right? And then it'll look like whatever you want it to look like. Doesn't have to look like Access. I also want to give a shout out to one of my moderators, Kevin Robertson. He came up with an idea. This was posted a couple months back on my forums on the website. And what he's saying is you can use pop-up forms in your database, and you won't even see the Access window itself. It'll start up and you'll just minimize it. So the Access window will be down in the taskbar, but all the user will see is going to be your pop-up form, like that. Right? So, and here you can still see the Access logo, but I showed you how to change the logo so it'll look like your logo down there. So to do this, what you'll do is we'll go to the original database. Now remember, this opens up the ACCDE file now, so that's not even going to work. In fact, I'm going to get rid of it. There's no reason to keep that around. And we'll just change this back to the DB. Properties, DB. Whoop, DB. Okay, so open this guy up. Again, hold the shift key down, open it up in developer mode. Come on. Your little database. Okay, so what Kevin is saying to do is to take your objects, whatever objects you wanted the user to use, and make them pop up. Right click, design view, go in here, and go other, and set pop up to yes. Now, I typically try not to use pop-up forms because they can sometimes unexpectedly show up in weird spots, and you have to kind of save it for like a standard monitor arrangement, because if you've got multiple monitors, they're going to go wherever you have them on your monitor. You might need to use code to move them around, and I got separate lessons on that too, but just be careful if you're using this. So let's do the main menu. Let's do the customer form, design view, pop-up yes. Okay. Let's do the customer list form, design view, pop-up yes. And one more. Let's do contacts. And you'll have to do all of them in your database if you want them all to. All right, pop-up yes. All right. So now those guys are pop-ups. And then what we're going to do is, in the main menu, we're going to minimize access when it starts. So again, go into the main menu and see, look at this. When you go into design view on pop-up menus, that happens. Sammy definitely put that on the list for the access team. That's annoying, and that's been that way for years and years and years. Whenever you got a pop-up window, right, if you go to try to design it, boom, it shows up right up here in the corner, and that's annoying. Oh, I hate that. I can't stand that. All right, and you got to do that to get it back out. That's, fix that. Anyways, we're going to go back in here, go to that event, and go to the onload that we have here. Okay, and in that same spot where we're hiding the ribbon, we're going to say do command.run command accmd app minimize. That's going to minimize the application window, access itself. All right, but your forms are pop-up forms, so they'll stay up. They're not going to minimize. Okay, what you're also going to want to do is in the form close event for your main menu, you're going to want to shut the database down. All right, so go to form and find the close event or exit. Where's the close event? Where are you? Form close. Right, when they close this form, shut the database down. So do command.quit. And just whatever, save all is fine. Okay. All right, debug compile, make sure we don't have any errors. Close it. Close it. All right, open it up. And we're waiting. Oh, someone's beaming in. Wait for it. There it is. Anyways, there we go. It's just main menu, right? And yeah, you'll see the icons down on the bottom. All right, there it is. There's the application window, right? But all they see is this, and you can click on stuff. If they do click on that, it will open up the application window behind it, but we've already hidden everything, so they'll just see this big empty screen. But now they can just work with this stuff. This customer form, right? Contacts. Oh, I forgot we disabled the contacts form earlier. We were messing around with the buttons. Right? Customer list. Customers. Now, do note, if you click on orders, I'm going to have to bring that form back up again. Look, it opened up in the orders form because we didn't make orders pop up, right? So you got to make all your forms pop up. Otherwise, none of them are going to work. Okay? And when you're done, you just close this and boom, shuts the database down, see? So, there you go. So again, shout out to Kevin for that tip. But there's the basic checklist that I use when I want to hide stuff. And I got some other tricks too that I cover in my security seminar. Right? I got to hide some of the good goods for myself. I cover it all in the security seminar. So if you really want to make professional quality databases that are locked down as good as they can be with access, then check out my security seminar. And of course, the best secure solution is an Access front end connecting to an SQL Server backend. That's the best solution for you. And one of the other benefits of using SQL Server online is that your users can be anywhere. And as long as they have an internet connection, they're still connecting to your database. And it's secure. And it's access. And it's wonderful. And if you like learning this stuff with me, I got a whole bunch of developer lessons on my website. Check them out. There's the link. I'll take you from a VBA beginner all the way to an expert ace like me. But that's going to do it. That's your tech help video for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.